No such thing as easing into it, is there? It is always Frogger. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I think I know what I'm gonna play tonight. Maybe that's what I'll do tonight. I'll try to figure out how to get MAME running on my RetroPie. Maybe that's what I'll do tonight. I'll upgrade RetroPie. Try to see if I can get those N64 games working. I say I'm going to do these things. Right now I got my videos cooking. It's going to take at least 4 more hours. No more football games to watch. Yeah, I guess I'll just fire up the gaming rig. Fire up the gaming rig and Netflix and chill for a couple hours. Do this new batch of videos because the camera's on one of the cameras got 3 hours left. I had 3 hours left on the card. What I'm doing right now is going to take at least an hour. I'll leave me with 2 hours to spare. I'm doing a reduced set on the hills, but it still may take over 2 hours. I'm okay with that. The camera will probably conk out somewhere around Shorecrest and that should be fine. Meantime, what to do tonight? Like I said, I'll just fire up the gaming rig, watch Netflix on it. It's a waste of processing power, but I keep thinking about how in the future processors are going to be three-dimensional. What I mean is you'll buy your processor and you know what? You're not going to even put your computers together anymore. Very rarely. It's going to be like this special enthusiast. But the days of flat chips are almost over. Because we're going to start having pods. You're going to buy your little entertainment center and I guess it'll be a chair or something. A chair attached to some kind of virtual reality peripherals in order to run all that power. You're going to need some kind of super 16-core processor. I was thinking about that today. How a computer in the future is going to look like might look like a cylinder with some pins coming out of it. I was like, why is it open like that? And it's like, well, the air's got to be able to flow through it. And I'll just copy the design from, there's a species of termite in Australia. And they build their mounds, they're giant towers with fins in them. Giant conical towers. Not conical, but cylinder towers. And that's how computers are going to look. Instead of racks of servers, you're going to see tubes of servers. But it's weird, man. Looking at the way IT is working. I think I said this before while walking in walking down Davila before. My future, the future of my industry, my career. A high school kid will be able to do my job. Say, hey, my computer's not doing this, that, and the other. Alright, let me try fixing it remotely. Connect into it. The administrator tries 4 or 5 different things, it ain't working. I'll send a text out with a swap. Tech will show up in 30 minutes to an hour. He'll take the box out of there, put the new box in there. Plug it into the network, turn it on. Once he starts turning it on, he says, alright, wait about 30 minutes because it's going to take that amount of time to load up your profile and apps. And that's all he does. He puts it in there, plugs it in, turns it on. And once he turns it on, if he turns on and checks the network connection, that's a wrap. That's all that box needs. Computers will still have SSDs. But you won't be keeping. I guess, like I said, I'm talking about my gaming rig. And other than the operating system and a few applications, I don't need a lot of stuff on that box. If my other computer breaks down right now, my other Nook, which is kind of happening with the motherboard, and I'm hoping it's just the HDMI port and I can switch over to mini display port. But if it does happen, I might just, my new primary computer might be a Raspberry Pi. I haven't done it yet, I haven't had time to do it, but I want to look into Raspbian. All my computer has to be able to do is surf the internet, get my emails, and help me read my comic books. That's about it. Oh, and you know, get on the internet and read comic books. And I can do that with Raspbian, I think. The only reason I don't want to try Raspbian is because a lot of Raspbian is still using command lines. Like it's this, and command line is great once you get used to it. I understand the appeal behind it because you have so much control and power. But the problem with command line is that it has a wicked learning curve, number one, and number two, sometimes the people who write these command line features are really shitty at documentation. You go looking up the man pages on how to use it, and it's this poorly written gobbledygook, or there's just nothing at all. I was like, well, why don't you just use this flag? I was like, I didn't know that flag existed because whoever wrote the man page needs to be shot. So I don't want to touch it until I know that there's a software center and I go in there and I can just load certain things. Yes, I'll still use the command line every once in a while, but you know, I know the apt-get command pretty well, or APT. Because sometimes it's not apt-get, it's just install, apt install now. Apt has gotten so simple now. I kind of wanted to learn Arch Linux, just because of the fact that Arch Linux, the beautiful thing about it is you're building the operating system. It's for those who like to really customize things. You start off with a basic kernel and Pac-Man. And you decide how much control you want to have over the box. The problem with that, with Arch Linux, is you have to do everything. If there's a certain device that you want to load, you better hope that they have Linux support for it, and then figure out a way to get it into Pac-Man and configure it and load it up. Linux is getting there though, or Linux is already there. Operating systems need not be that complicated anymore. Gone are the days where I had to it's like I'm trying to load Netflix on a Linux box. How do I do it? Oh, first you need to use an user agent switcher. Then you need to get this thing called, what was it called? It was called, shit, I can't remember. Moon something. Microsoft has their proprietary Silverlight. So there was the open source version of that. Oh my God. Back when, you had to get Pepper Flash, which is the open source version of Adobe Flash, and then you had to load something called Wildvine or something like that. I couldn't remember what it was, but it was Silverlight thing that for anti-DRM management, or DRM, excuse me. And Netflix used to have DRM with Flash to get it to work. And so on Linux you had to get the open source versions of those. Then you had to fool Netflix into thinking that the browser was running Windows. You had to turn your Linux box into a virtual Windows machine to get it to run, to watch Netflix. And then Netflix said, alright, we switched over to HTML5. You switch over to HTML5. So yeah. And a lot of Linux users have said the same thing. Goodbye, Windows. I never looked back. I used to dual boot. I'd have Windows for stuff that I had to take care of for work, or just watching certain things, or playing games. And I used Linux for everything else. And two things happened. Steam started having Linux support. Not only did they have Linux support, they had their own damn operating system, which was kind of cool. And then Netflix said we're going HTML5, which means you can watch this from any device, Android, anything. After that happened, I didn't even dual boot Windows anymore. So I'm sitting there. That's why I didn't buy Windows 10. Didn't need it. I'm not going to rag on Microsoft and talk about their evil empire. I happen to believe that Windows 10 is actually really decent operating system. I like it. I've never had a Windows install where there was nothing for me to do. Because I had I preempted a whole day. My mom works from home, and she needed, and her job basically gave her this old obsolete piece of shit computer that pissed me off. Then on top of that, they didn't give her the admin rights to the damn box. So we needed to upgrade something we couldn't because we didn't have the admin credentials. They said, well, you're going to have to bring it in and we'll have to do this, that, and the other. My mom ain't got time for that. I said, all right, you know what, guys, fuck it. It was just something they provided her so that she could do her job, but I was like, I can do better than that. So I bought 2 new computers. I got 2 brand new Nooks. Hooked them up to the monitor. I call them Nooks. I guess everyone else calls them NUCs. But the 2 little Intel mini PCs, I love those things. That's all I get now. So I got her 2 mini PCs, one for her little craft stuff that she does, and then I got another one for her workplace. And I bought 2 legal copies of Windows off the internet, or off of Amazon. And they send me the sticks. And I was like, I said it's gonna take me a whole day. So I got up at the crack of dawn, plugged them in, started getting them up and running. And it was like, all right, we're starting to run now. Put in the product key. Put in the product key. After that, I ain't touched the damn box. What's her username and password going to be? The same thing that it is on everything else. All right, we got everything we needed. I was like, what about the drivers? We already loaded those. What about the printer? We already detected and installed it. Like, what the hell? I can't remember if I put Office on there or not. I didn't think I had to because where she works at, they have a virtual machine they connect into, and it's got the full version of everything that you need. 10 minutes. It wasn't Windows needs to do multiple reboots. It wasn't Windows needs to install this and that and the other, and Windows needs your permission for this. It was pop in the thumb drive, boot it into the boot UEFI, and it handled everything. Created this GPT partition. I was like, yeah, it's got to be GPT because there ain't gonna be anything else on this box. Windows said, oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. If it's just Windows you're running, it's going to be the easiest install in the world. If it's Windows and something else, you're going to have a bitch of a time. Don't use GPT. GPT doesn't play well with others. Linux doesn't care. Linux looks at it and says, oh, let's see what you got there. You got any space for me? That's alright, I can make some space. I was kind of digging, they were coming out with a new version, and now it's Linux I have a problem with sometimes. I don't like 1804. Or Ubuntu, I guess is what I'm saying. So, I was using 16, and 16 was working great. And then they did some kind of stupid upgrade, and it broke. I forgot what was going on. I think it had something to do with the proprietary card I had in there or something. What even that? It was, this is on the Nook. Oh! So I got a shitload of CBR files, which are comic book RAR files. Ubuntu 16.04 wouldn't load the thumbnails for CBR files. No matter what I did, no matter what I was trying to do, I just couldn't get it to work. So I got tired, and it happens to me every year. Every year I just got a sigh. I was like, all right, it's time to play with some other distros. And so I got Mint. I was running Mint 18 with Cinnamon. Again, working pretty good for a while. And then it kept having these weird issues where it would run this upgrade, it would run this patch. You know, it's monthly patches or whatever. and mint kept dropping to the shell. For some reason, X console wouldn't start up. I'm researching. I roll back. It works for a minute, then it does that upgrade again. Next thing you know, it breaks it again. It's like, motherfucker. So, no more mint. Everything else was running fine. It just had that thing where it would just lose the ability to start up the X Windows Manager. I tried Kubuntu, Lubuntu, Xbuntu, all the different flavors of Ubuntu, and they just never felt right. You know, Kubuntu uses KDE as the Windows decorator, and that's for people who want their stuff to look like Apple products, and you got to do a lot of work to get it to look like that. A lot of assholes out here tonight, and I just didn't have time for that. So I tried Ubuntu, which is supposed to be the lightweight one, and it was fine, but the Windows decorator, I didn't like the file manager. They could use something called Dolphin or whatever it was. It sucked. So I took Psy and I said, all right. And I broke down and I finally downloaded and installed Ubuntu 18.04 when it went live in April. In 18.04, it fixes all the problems that were happening with 16.04. There's some things it does that I don't like in 16.04, you used to be able to encrypt your home folder, which is great if you got all your personal information on there. And if you dual boot, you can't encrypt a drive in dual boot, because the master boot record, MBR or whatever you're using, Grub in that case, it didn't work with encrypted. It couldn't boot from encrypted partitions on multiple things. So that was a pain in the ass. Like I said, so ultimately I just had to drop multi-boot support, and 18.04 forces me to encrypt the entire hard drive. No one in this country anymore should run a computer without an encrypted hard drive, but people are what they are, because you never know. Someone break in your house, take your stuff, next thing you know they got your driver's license stuff, your tax returns, family photos, they got all that stuff. That secret list of dirty stuff you like to do, whatever, they got it. You encrypt it, all they got is gobbledygook. So anyway, I got 18.04. Been using it ever since. I don't think they ever fixed the thumbnail problem. The reason I say I don't think is because I keep forgetting how busy it is. Anyway, I don't use the thumbnail previews anymore. Most of the time I keep everything in list form. But I guess the cool thing is now, I used to have to, my biggest pain in the ass was backing up all my bookmarks. And now, I created an account on Firefox, I created an account for the Google a long time ago. All I do is copy over the important stuff, all my documents, got it on a backup drive somewhere. Locked up, of course. Back up all the documents, install the new operating system, download and install the browsers, log into the browsers. Once you log into the browsers, everything syncs up. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'm walking around, I just randomly see a coin on the ground. I hate to think that people are throwing stuff at each other. Anyway, went off of my long geek spiel. Why did I start this off? Oh, because I was talking about what I was going to do tonight. And I got 3 options available to me. Load up a game that you have preloaded already. Learn how to play it. Upgrade your RetroPie and see if you can get some of those games that couldn't work before to work. Or it's not even about the games that didn't work before, it's that see if you're bold enough to set up MAME tonight. And I was like, nah. I got like 10,000 MAME games. I can play those old school arcade games, but I keep thinking David had all that stuff figured. We would go on the thing, he'd load it up, pop right up. Plug my joystick in, it would work every time. I'm just too damn lazy. So I can do that tonight, or or I can sit there and try to figure out how to use Raspbian on my other Raspberry Pi. My mom tells me she's tired of paying the cable bill. And I tell her, yeah. I was like, we don't need cable. How do we switch over? And I said, well, we could sign up for DirecTV. Because we got, you know, because of our provider, we can sign up for the DirecTV online thing. And they can just watch their channels on the internet. He said, well, how hard is that? And that's like, like I said, I probably get it. Like I said, I can put a bunch of what I can do at home is I can get a bunch of Raspberry Pis, load them up with Kodi. I'm pretty sure there's a snap-in app that allows you to access DirecTV now through Kodi. You know, and do all that. And I told her the reason I don't want to do it is because I become the administrator of the cable system. Versus when I'm not available or I'm asleep. Basically, when I'm not available, you just call DirecTV and DirecTV fixes it. Something goes wrong, I have to be the one who fixes it. And then I think about my 76-year-old dad trying to learn how to use it. Evening. Anyway, I'm so used to people preemptively saying something to me that he doesn't care. I don't care. I was just trying to make sure the guy wasn't a threat. Anyway, trying to teach my 76-year-old dad how to use Kodi. A guy who just now learned how to use a smartphone, and didn't want it. He had the original Apple iPhone. Would not change that for years. And something died on it. I can't remember. I think the SIM card or something went out. So my nieces and nephews got him a new iPhone. And they transferred what they could over to it. Now he's trying to learn how to use it. How did you see that message I had? Well, Dad, you got the messaging app right there. Oh, okay. And what is that? That's a text message. Oh, okay. And I started looking at his little phone, and it had the voicemail manager. And Apple does this cool thing where you can look at your voice messages and it dictates whatever somebody said in like the first 2 minutes of the voicemail. It transcribes that, so you don't have to sit there and try to connect to the phone server and then hit all those go through the stupid menu, and then have to listen to the message, and you can't pause and do all that other stuff. You just look at it like it's a text message. It's hello, Mr. Young, we are trying to call you about blah 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 blah. It's like, oh. Okay. Delete. And I was like, how come I don't have that on my Android phone? Oh my God, my Android voicemail is so damn buggy. Sometimes I'm lying in my bed and I'm trying to dial into the voicemail thing, and the screen just goes blank. I can hear it ringing, but I can't do anything. All of a sudden the voicemail menu comes up, please press 3. I can't press 3 because there's nothing on the goddamn screen. I don't know what's going on with that. Nobody's fixing it. I think my dad's got an iPhone. Might be an Android. All I know is his version had a thing that, no, it was an Apple. It just had this weird looking Apple, Android looking interface on it. Suddenly got me thinking, I guess it's time for me to upgrade my phone. I bought the thing 4 years ago, but that's like 1,000 years in phones, in phone years. Sometimes I have a problem with it not holding a charge. And I thought that was because the battery was going bad. Now I think it's just because there's so much crap that gets upgraded and downloaded and thrown across. I love using tech, but sometimes I get tired of maintaining it because I simply don't have the time. Right now I'm done. I'm doing this walk, and after I'm done, I'm going to go eat breakfast, and then I got to figure out how to have time to. And I just don't have the energy anymore. I want to spend another, that's usually what happens. I spend all night trying to get the stuff to work, and then I get it working, and then I don't want to touch it after that because I'm so tired. There was a time when I can't remember how long it took me to learn how to use SteamOS. It wasn't really that bad. No, it was that bad. The SteamOS works just fine. You put it in there, and it loads up and does its thing. The biggest problem I had with it was trying to set up dual boot, and I just had to learn the hard way to. How did I wind up doing that? Maybe it wasn't that bad. My gaming rig, the way it works is I've got Windows 7, and then I got SteamOS on top of that. And the grub loader detected all of that, went through it, they finished it up. I guess that's the only thing you don't have to encrypt is a gaming machine. Unless you keep like credit card information or something on it. The reason I don't have to do all that is because all my payment information is being kept on Steam handles all that. Probably the only prudent thing that you should do is set it to where every single time you load up the operating system, you have to put a password in to log in. Anyway, got a gaming rig, and I don't think it took me that long to learn how to. The problem I had with SteamOS was it's limited. Sometimes I want to look up. I was like stuck on a game, and I was like, "Damn it, how do I do this?" And the browser they have in there is shit. It has some kind of browser, and you sit there and try to use your keyboard, your mouse, or even your joystick to navigate the thing, and it's just a shitty browser. I think it's Opera or something like that. No idea why they put that browser in there. So I had to drop down into desktop mode And I'm trying to get Chrome put on there. But here's the kicker: SteamOS has to have a root account. Don't know why. Some security flaws. So you sit there and you have to you try to install anything, it asks you for an admin password, and there is no admin password. I don't know how they did it. They installed it in some way to where it asks for admin credentials, but there's no admin account. So you have to create your little local account on there. For the life of me, I can't remember what I did. Every once in a while, the Debian client that's on there, the Dome Debian, asks me, hey, we need to upgrade. We need to upgrade. Actually, what it does is it says, we need to upgrade Chrome. And I can't upgrade Chrome because I don't have the password. So I'm actually going to have to go on there and take off Chrome and then put on the new Chrome somehow. I just haven't done it. Because all I do on that box is watch Netflix. I'll keep watching Netflix until one day it tells me, hey, your browser's obsolete. You need to upgrade it. And then I'll have to go over there and look and go to the websites. All right, life hacker, how do you? And they'll say, you're still using that version of SteamOS? So yeah, why? Was there a newer version? Yeah, there's a whole brand new distro that everybody, you know. I want to upgrade my SteamOS. Well, it won't be SteamOS. It won't be the SteamOS from Steam. It'll be the SteamOS open source managed by some group that takes donations from PayPal. Not saying anything good or bad about it. It's just kind of a gear change. It's like, wait, so the company that came up with this operating system is no longer maintaining it? Yeah. Okay, that makes me a little. All right. Next you know, there's 15 different forks of it. And I'm just trying to find the one that'll let me put Google Chrome on it. They're the easiest. Oh no, we've got this one. It already comes with Google Chrome. It's like, oh, okay, cool. That's the problem with Steam. Or that's the problem with Linux. Yes, there are still problems with Windows. The whole time I was kept thinking I was going to have to buy an antivirus for my mom's computer, and it came with Windows Essentials. I was like, oh, okay, but you still have to have an antivirus. And an antivirus doesn't do jack if you willingly install something that your computer tells you not to. I got two people in my family like that. They'll just click yes to anything. They won't even bother to read. It's like, did you even read the script? It's like, well, now you got a virus. I gotta reload everything. Well, I'm gonna lose this, that, and the other. Yeah, because you didn't back it up. I don't know how to do all that. And I was like, well, sucks to be you. You want to talk about heartbreak, man? Well, it used to be heartbreak. I'd lose a lot of porn that way. It'd be like I accidentally hit a button the wrong way, or something happened, or the hard drive. One time, like I said, the hard drive just died. My Phantom drive. Thing was running, then one day I couldn't mount it. I was like, what the fuck? And I almost lost a lot of porn. Lost a little though. It's a pain in the ass though. It was like all that stuff they told me not to do. They said, well, you need to go in here and you need to do this, you need to do that. And I tried all the stuff they did for Like sometimes you think the internet's giving you a lot of misinformation. That's bullshit. Everybody kept saying, just take the hard drive and put it in the refrigerator. Just take the hard drive and put it in the refrigerator. Just take... And then everybody says, no, don't do that method. If you do that method, blah, blah, blah. These are the guys who are supposed to be the quote-unquote professionals. And for 200 bucks, you can get all your stuff back. And it's like, for 200 bucks, I don't want you... I don't want you seeing my secret porn stash. Plus, it was porn. It was porn, and it's not really worth 200 bucks to get it back. There's some scenes on there that are hard to find, but at least I thought they were hard to find. Man, my God, there's so many tube stations out there. You sign up, and they've got your email, and they send you, and you just put them in the spam can. And there was stuff I thought was lost in antiquity. I keep forgetting with the Christmas shopping. I guess traffic's going to be like this for the next month. Anyway, bottom line, putting your hard drive in the freezer works. I'll state it equivalently right now. It worked. I put it in there. I plugged it in. Waited like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it said, "Hey, I have a connection to your drive." I was like, "Wait, what? You can mount it?" "Yeah, I can mount it." It's like, "What do you need?" I was like, "Grab this, please." And it started grabbing everything. And I yanked out a good portion of my files. Most of my stuff I was able to get. And it was almost like it just knew. It got to almost the end of it. Basically, I froze it twice, gleaned what I could off of it, and recovered about 85%, 80 to 90% of my files, which was outstanding. The stuff I lost, I was able to get back, or I just didn't need. But the freezer method worked. That's the important thing. The guys tell you not to do it, and I did it. And it worked. Just pop it in the freezer. I did have fun destroying that drive. The only thing I haven't tried yet is and I may try it someday, is microwaving an SSD. Just hear those chips pop. I get so sick and tired of doing this shit. Every time somebody mails me something that I didn't want, I have to sit there and put it through the shredder. Oh look, it's got an order form with my name and address already filled out. Thank you, assholes. Shred it. Oh look, another offer for more debt. Shred. And it just goes on like that. So that's another 10 minutes taken out of a day that's already pretty busy. Sometimes you just take all that shit and put it in a file. I'll get to it eventually, and that pile just grows and grows, and all of a sudden you're spending New Year's shredding that. What's that? I got a pay stub from 1998. You can shred that shit too. And I hold on to that because some expert tells you, hey, you might get audited at any time. Better hold on to those tax records and those pay stubs for 7 years, I think is what they said. It's annoying, especially if you got limited space. So the bottom line is corporate America got its way, and they are going to build a big ass, what's the name of that thing that we're going to build? Can't remember. What was the name of it? I get my gas there too. That's funny. What's the name of that stupid thing? Racetrack tried to come in there and they said, nah, we go somewhere else. Shit. What's the name of it? I can see the logo in my head, but I can't think of the name. It's a stupid name too, like Sip and Go or something. Anyway, they're putting it back there. It's gonna be huge. You know, it's sad. I used to just be able to say it's going to be huge, and that's all I meant. Now everybody thinks that idiot in the White House. It's going to be huge. Anyway, it will be huge. Whatever they're building over there. What's the name of that damn thing? Come on, think about it. Came out of nowhere, just took over 7-Eleven to everybody. Just I'm going to be trying to think about the name of that stupid thing. Quick Trip. They're gonna put a Quick Trip back there. It's gonna be supposed to be a big giant when it's supposed to be like a supersized store, and they offered to put environmental protections in place and try not to have any runoff that will go into Bachman Lake. A lot of groups were opposed to it, and those groups just couldn't mount any kind of united front to fight them. So they're going to build so they're putting a Quick Trip up. Why do I keep doing this? I gotta stop being responsible. Not even a joke anymore, just No one else gives a shit, why should I? I know a lot of assholes that come and fuck it. That's not gonna go away overnight. That happened to me last night. Last night I'm lifting the dumbbells, and come back after a week and all the dumbbells, at least they're racked, but they were racked all in the wrong spots. So you'd have to go searching around for what you needed. And I spent about 10 minutes organizing the dumbbell rack. Not because I felt responsible, but because in order to get to what I needed to get to, I had to start moving a lot of stuff around. And I could have just dumped it anywhere, but I dumped it in the right spot. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm a pure sucker. I gotta stop thinking about it like that, though. Sometimes what happens is I start organizing it, and then I leave the area, and sometimes I'm turning back and I look, and there's a young buck that was watching me, and he starts organizing the rack. And I think to myself, that's why you keep doing it. I'm stripping my weights off the bar after I'm done. Young buck's watching me. He finishes doing his set, and I see him racking the weights after the fact. And I'm like, all right, cool. That happened one time. The dude was on his phone, he's watching me. He walked away, and he was gonna leave it unracked. And then we saw me racking my weights. He started racking his weights. There was a time when all I had to do was look at the guy, and he kind of figured it out. One time I looked at the guy and I said, hey man, you gonna leave it like that? He said, no, sorry. I was like, okay. The only reason I did that. And I'll never know the benefit of that. I'm always the guy who runs over shit. That's why I do it. So I tried to save somebody a shredded tire. Tried to save someone a trip to the Discount Tire or wherever you go. Some people can't afford Discount Tire. That's all I can tell in middle class. But I've seen the other places. Yeah, we're gonna sell you some used tires. I was like, is that even legal? And they retread them. They don't last as long as the new tires, but they're still pretty good. If you're strapped for cash, you're trying to sell a car, just put some used tires on it.